war is hell. Or so they say. I never actually been in a war myself.
What is it good for?
Everybody says that. I don't get it.
Absolutely nothing.
This is War Month, or the month of war, and today we're talking about 1917 from Sam Mendes from 2019.
It's a fine vintage.
A Mallard Matinee. Yes, this is War Month, and we are talking about 1917. We already did Waterloo, so go ahead and check that out. Before you watch this one, you can check that one out. Also, it's a good review we did. But we're talking about 1917 now, a movie that came out in 2019, which is 7 years ago now, I guess, at this point. Let's introduce ourselves, though. Before we get into the movie itself, who are you?
I am Lewis Lightning, and this has been my first experience watching the movie 1917. I had heard about it. Actually, I get it confused quite a lot with Dunkirk for some reason in my head.
Okay.
That, Dunkirk, Hacksaw Ridge, and this. Like, I haven't seen any of them until now. I've seen this.
They all came out pretty close to each other, I'd say, within a year or two from each other, I think, anyways.
But I was aware. I was aware of all of them, and I did say to myself at one point that, I really do want to watch these, because I do like a good military film, and it's like, I want to watch... I don't know which one it was. I was like, oh, maybe it was 1917. Could have also been Hacksaw Ridge. Could have been Dunkirk. But yeah, I wanted to watch a good old-fashioned war film. So even though I didn't get around to it, I'm glad that I finally did now, because it was a pretty... I don't want to give it away. It was pretty
okay movie?
pretty decent.
It's alright. It's okay.
War film.
It's alright. I have seen all of the movies that you mentioned. So for my money, if I'm going to say which one I like the most out of those three, it would be this one. I will say I like 1917 more than Hacksaw Ridge and Dunkirk. But yeah, I seen this movie in theaters. I'm country boy. First and foremost, I did see this movie in theaters, and it was getting a lot of praise when it came out. It was getting a lot of Oscar talk, and rightfully so, because I think there's some pretty cool things in this movie that I think definitely stand out. And it did win some Oscars actually as well too. And so I enjoyed it back in 2019 when I watched it. And this is I've seen bits and pieces of it since then, so I was familiar with a lot of it. But rewatching it just yesterday for this video, this was my pick for our movie, our war month, our month of war. So we can get into some of the actors, I guess. So that's usually how we start this out.
I only recognized one off the top of my head. So.
Oh really?
It's right at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think there's only one.
Okay, there's two main actors, we'll say that, because the story, it's about two private soldiers that need to go and get a message out to another faction of the British Army, because the Germans had moved, so they need to get out there. And then, so the two main actors, I'll start with the main actor, George McKay, Lance Corporal William Schofield, however you say his name. He was the main actor who's in the movie more than anybody else in this movie. So what did you think about him? Yeah,
I liked him, because at first you were presented with both. Actually, I feel like the other soldier that's with him is actually maybe the first one you see. Like, he's sitting in a tree and they hand him a note, you see his face, and then he nudges the other guy, which is Schofield.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of feel like it's going to be this other soldier, but then Schofield definitely takes over as the main one, which I liked. I was like, this other guy looks too much like, the handsome guy who should be at the star of a film. And I want it kind of the more... He's just a young boy. That's what I get from looking at the Schofield. He was a young boy thrust into this war, and he's going through the shit at this. They're only 18, 19-year-olds, I think, for this film.
I thought that the actor did an excellent job in this role, and I agree too. I thought he was. I'm glad that they followed him more so than the other one. The other actor, I was familiar with him from Game of Thrones, but he's more of a baby face, I'd say, and he was more cutie looking. He doesn't like he fit as much in the war frame. Whereas this actor, I thought he fit in there better, and he looked. I just liked his acting.
I also felt like the other one was a little bit more idealistic. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go right now. And the other guy's trying to tell him Schofield's trying to tell him the reality of this. We should wait. What about this? What about that? He just seemed like this war had already gotten to him, and not just the knowledge, but also just the reality of this is not going to be a good excursion. Whereas the other guy, and from what it sounds like, they've been roughly around the same time. I think Schofield has a little extra time in the war than I can't remember the other guys.
Blake did. Corporal Blake.
But they seem to have known each other for a while. And yeah, it's just two different perspectives. Blake's was still kind of I don't say starry-eyed, but he was still a little bit more optimistic about how the war would go, and Schofield felt more like beaten down.
And so yeah, we've talked about Blake a little bit. The actor is Dean Charles Chapman. I know him from, like I said, from Game of Thrones. He played a young kid. He becomes a king at one point because his brother dies and he kind of inherits the throne. And he's got a tragic background in Game of Thrones. But here, I liked him, and he kind of brings along the other fellow, Schofield. He brings him along because it's his platoon that they're got to bring his brother's platoon or faction that they got to bring this note to. So he's really invested in doing this mission, and you see that, and he kind of brings his buddy along against his own will, sort of thing.
No,
at one point, he's like, "Why do you have to pick me?" He says.
But he didn't know it was gonna be that bad.
No,
he says.
They didn't know what they were going to be getting into at all. But I liked him as well too. I thought. The tragedy of his character also, I thought that it was really well done, and I thought they both did a good job of acting as these friends. They obviously have known each other for a little while. They have a good back and forth. I thought they're really good actors. These two guys.
And those are really the two main cast.
Yeah. Then there's obviously your supporting cast. There was some actors. So I mentioned the ones that I knew right off the hop, like Andrew. Sorry, I'll start with this one, Colin Firth. He was the one that gave him the mission.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he had like mustache and I think a bit of scruff as well too.
I kind of remember him. He's not in there very much, but yeah, I guess I probably didn't really look through his like whatever prosthetics, his mustache, if that was prosthetic or not. But
and
yeah,
these are definitely just supporting actors. They have very small roles, but they're faces that you recognize. That's why I want to mention them. So Colin Firth, he played General Aaronmore, and he's the one that was like in the bunker, and he gives them the mission to take this message.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I just at the time did not recognize him.
Okay, well maybe that's a good thing because you don't have that like they're throwing these stars out there. And that's one thing about this movie that. You're like, oh, that star. It kind of brings you a little bit out of it when you see these stars a little bit.
There's only one in my mind that I...
And then another character was the guy that gave him the flair, Andrew Scott. He's an actor that I recognize. He was worked with... he was in the Sherlock Holmes TV show with Benedict Cumberbatch. He actually played Moriarty.
So Cumberbatch is the one I recognize.
Yes, and we'll get to him right up. So Andrew Scott, he played Lieutenant Leslie, and he's the one that... Right before they left the trench, he gave him the flare and told him, "Hey, if you're gonna get shot, make sure you throw it back." I liked his character. He lights up a dart as he's telling them all this stuff. I thought he was a cool character. Then Mark Strong. You didn't recognize Mark Strong?
Oh, I thought that was Mark Strong.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was someone who looked like Mark Strong.
Okay.
I looked at the credits and I didn't see Mark Strong's name, so I don't know if I missed it or not because I didn't know the character's name, so it's hard to really find him in the credits. Like, oh, he played Colonel whatever, but I didn't hear what that guy's name was. So
his character's name was Captain Smith.
Yes. I thought it was Mark Strong lookalike kind of guy.
As soon as I heard his voice, I knew that was his character. Like because it was right after one of the characters dies, and you see his boots, and you hear his voice. I was like, oh, that's 100% Mark Strong.
I got the impression it was him. I didn't know it was him.
But again, like these are kind of like passing moments these characters are in. They're not very big moments in the movie. They have these big name actors. They do their part, and then they're on to their own thing. They have like their own parts of the war to deal with. And then Benedict Cumberbatch also played Colonel Mackenzie, who was who they were trying to get to through the whole movie. This is the guy that they're trying to get up to. What do you think about Benedict Cumberbatch?
That one took me out the most because, like you said, I recognized him so much, and I was kind of expecting because like a soldier earlier on tells him like make sure you have a witness or something when you tell them this because like some soldiers like they just want to get into the fight.
They just want to fight.
And I was like, oh, that's going to be a thing, and he just. At first, he's a little bit dismissive, but then he's like, he reads it. He actually reads it. He's like, oh, okay, then we'll stop. And he gives a little bit of like a monologue about how war sucks and whatever kind of thing. It's like, oh, so he's not going to be this dick who doesn't listen.
Yeah, he wasn't going to be the one that just sent his men anyways because he wants to fight.
But it's like a 2-minute scene because that's all these other characters aside from the main two are just like in there for like 2 minutes at most.
I mean, I could have also said... Blake's brother that you meet as well too. He's also actor from Game of Thrones, and he was in the Eternals as well as Icarus.
Oh, that was Icarus. Okay. Oh, I guess okay. He looks different.
I can't remember what the actor's name is. I didn't write on his character's name.
If he was younger or not at the time.
But he was also in there as well. I thought he did a good job. Showed the emotionality of him losing his brother. Spoiler, because we'll get to that. But yeah, those are the actors.
Who was the baby? Wait for you to tell me like the baby was.
Yeah, the baby was also. If you would have, no, the baby is not Not important. But yeah, we can get more into the story now. So it's a more simple story set in World War II, 1917, obviously. These two young war children, they're young, they're very, very youthful. Like I said, the two actors, Blake and Schofield, they get kind of asked to do this one mission because they heard word that the Germans had moved. They're no longer on the other side of where they are. They're in these trenches and they're no longer across the battlefield anymore. They're gone. They're gone to fight another set of the British Army.
Yeah, they're kind of amassing somewhere else where the British are going to do this push, and they had to like go and let them know that, oh yeah, they're waiting for you. Like, this push is not going to be good. You're going to lose a lot of guys because the Germans pulled back to reinforce those lines.
Yeah, and so the one thing that this movie does, if you like it or not, one camera shot. It was, for the most part, it's one long camera take. And if you watched my Children of Men episode, you know that I love that. I thought it's done. When it's done well, it is amazing. It brings you into the movie, and this movie, it does that. It starts off with the kids. It goes down into the trenches. It follows them in to see Colin Firth's character. It keeps following them throughout the whole movie. It is one long camera take. Obviously, there's some cuts here and there, but they're not obvious cuts.
So since we're on that, like right in the beginning, there's two things. First of all, like I kind of went in blind. I knew it was about World War I and stuff like that, but I didn't pay any attention to anything else. So I didn't expect it to be about British soldiers. I was like, oh, it's going to be like Americans because, you know, that's what Americans are going to make a movie about themselves. No, it's British soldiers, which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
But also our friend Muskeg told me, he's like, oh yeah, this movie's done in one long shot. He's like, there is a break, one noticeable break in it, but for the rest of it, like it's all one shot, or it looks like it's one shot anyways. And so, since he told me that before I watched the movie, the whole time I'm watching it, I was just constantly looking, like,
trying to find
where are all the breaks? Where are all the breaks? And I found a few, I'm sure, like when they have something in the foreground that obscures the camera, or a shoulder walks by and just like, okay, that was a cut there because they can do that.
Or I think like the first one I think I might have noticed is when they were going into the bunker and it gets a little bit dark. I think the lighting changed to darkness. That was probably a cut right there, and then it's them coming out of the bunker that I actually noticed it might have been a camera break.
Yeah.
And then there was another one like when he jumps into the water at one point. Like, they could have easily just do a whole new camera at that point.
The most obvious one, like not to get ahead, I'll just say there's an explosion, and like there things kind of go dark.
Yeah.
Like there's dust in the air and stuff.
There's a time lapse as well too.
Oh yeah, there's that part too. I forgot about that. So there's like two clear ones, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I was thinking when they both did the shooting at each other and they fell down the stairs.
I was talking about the one in the bunker.
We'll get to that. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the things this movie does was really well is this single camera take, and it somehow still keeps you invested in these characters and it keeps the movie flowing. It doesn't feel slow. Like things are happening in real time, and I feel like it definitely makes you more aware of things, and it makes you more invested in these characters, and almost brings you into the movie that much more.
Well, it also kind of ruins something for me too, because in there early on, after they go to the bunker and they're leaving, they're like the two soldiers, Blake and Schofield, are kind of talking, and there's like I think Schofield says like we should go at night, it'll be easier, and they'll say no, we have to go now, and then they specifically say that we have like 8 or 9 hours it takes them to get over there. And I was like, well, the movie's not going to be 8 or 9 hours long.
Yeah.
And we're doing like one take shot. So like clearly something happens where time passes. Because if he got there like way too early, it would
I think
be
this is 6 hours at one point.
But still, the movie's not going to be that long.
Exactly, regardless.
So I was like...
But there is the time where they also do jump in the back of a vehicle too, so that would speed things up a little bit as well too.
But it's just like, there's not even riding the vehicle that long. It feels like they might want 1 kilometer.
Yeah, exactly. It maybe cut down maybe like a half an hour of their journey, if that.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, there's gonna be some stuff, and so either they're gonna get there super early and there's absolutely no tension, or there's a time lapse, which I was we did get, and I totally expected from the get go.
And so like it starts out, they got their mission, they got their flare from the one dude, and they're heading out, and you see they're a lot more like apprehensive and like kind of worried about, like they don't want to just be like walking, trudging to see if the German soldiers are there.
Yeah.
So they're very slow. They're jumping into like bits of like dugouts and like there's water and dead bodies and stuff.
I would say even before they get across like the no man's land part, they have to go find this guy named Stevenson. And as they're making their way through the trenches, like, oh, Stevenson's already dead. And they find that other guy you were talking about who's like got the cigarette, who's like the new guy in command.
Yeah.
I thought that was like They didn't, like, they left from the guy who gave them their orders, and they were in the same row of trenches all the way to this guy. Like, they didn't know Stevenson was dead, and it's not like it's something new. Like, no one told these guys back here that Stevenson had died like hours ago. Just, it was like a 10-minute walk at most through the trenches. Like, that seems weird to me.
I don't know. News doesn't travel very fast.
But yeah, so then they cross no man's land, like you said. They're in those not bunkers.
And these
craters.
craters. And it's kind of gross and grim. Like, you see rats are crawling over the dead bodies.
Well, Schofield like cuts his hand on the barbed wire. What an idiot! He grabs it right on the bar, and he's like no glove.
You think you can have some gloves? You're going to be grabbing some barbed wire.
I guess maybe the soldiers don't have gloves, but you take your sleeve or something and pull it up, and
he grabs blindly grab it. Like,
and then later he like falls into a bunker.
Yeah.
And no, it's actually Blake. He falls in, and Blake falls in, and
he like pushes him. Yeah, and he puts his hand down in the chest of like this decomposing.
Goes right through a guy's body. And that's gonna get infected.
Oh yeah, you're totally gonna get that infected.
But it never comes up though.
Wraps it up. I mean, you're not gonna see infection happen in the next 2 hours.
I think he might have put like some alcohol on it or something. But yeah,
he might have. Yeah,
he wrapped it up like you said.
And then they continue towards the German trenches. Slowly making their way through the trees and stuff like that, and then when they get there, they half expect there to be Germans, so they got their guns ready, and it's completely bare. It's empty.
Well, and that was another thing, like, because those guys are the guy who sent them over in the first place was like, yeah, you're gonna die. Like, throw the thing back so we're not wasting it.
Yeah.
But like the guys go over the wall, they go through like the barbed wire fence. They're probably traveling through that no man's land for like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. You think that the other soldiers who were there, who were supposed to be constantly pushing, would have heard like, hey, these guys went over. Haven't heard a fucking shot the whole time, and they would have gone over because like if you can get a couple guys through, like push it, but they never showed up or anything. Like,
what's the flares for? That's why they give them the all clear when they do eventually get there. And they get into the German bunker, and you notice the German bunkers or the German trenches are a lot more like straight, like well built. Apparently that's a real
engineering.
Apparently that's a real thing. Like, apparently they had more time, and they had pre-planned for this war, so they had made these bunkers, and they were able to make them a lot more nice and uniform, and it looks a lot nicer in their bunkers.
I mean, I know that they were showing us that the Germans were there recently because they found a bucket of ash and cinders, and they're still warm. But like, what was the purpose of that bucket? Like, for the cinder, like. What were they doing? Why was there ash in a bucket? I don't understand.
They might have been burning some important intel or something. Like they destroyed their big guns and stuff, so they can't use them. They're destroying intel. I'm guessing that's what my guess was.
I just assumed their guns were blown up from the use, all the shelling they've been doing.
No, they said they destroyed their own guns at one point.
But yeah, I was just like, I didn't really get with that. I knew what they were trying to show. I just didn't understand how that happens. Like, I could understand like if they were cooking something. I don't know if they found like a stove inside, then they were like, "Oh, this is still warm." Or, like like a cup of coffee that was still warm. We're like, "Oh," but yeah, it's just a thing of cinders. Like, who was doing that? You wouldn't really want smoke. As soon as you get smoke, then gives away where someone is.
Yeah, but I mean, they obviously would have known that they were there because they were across from the field from each other. So it's not like they were like hiding their position.
Yeah, but if you're gonna throw a grenade, I'm gonna probably throw it where there's smoke there, kind of thing.
Yeah, it does give you more of a target. But yeah, they go into the trenches and they see like all the beds that were there. They're all empty. There's no beds, so obviously they've left. The Germans are no longer there, and I don't know what there was hanging from the rafters. That was like bloody. I don't know what was in there, but there's more rats in there as well too.
Well, I think it's some food or something. It seemed like because that's what the rats were attracted to.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to eat whatever the hell was in those.
Well, either it was, like you said, it could have been bloody rags, which the rats might have wanted that too. But I thought it was just some kind of food or whatever they had just like sitting there. But, so yeah, like that's where that explosion happens, is in the bunker.
Yeah, there's the tripwire. They have.
I didn't like how the rat triggers it and stuff. Like, if the rats are triggering these tripwires, like, why didn't these things, like, they should be going off all the time now, because this place is filled with rats.
Well, we know that they hadn't left that long ago, so I mean, obviously they could have been some time in between then that some had gone off, but It's a good set piece. It's cool to see the explosion go off, and you think maybe that Schofield died at this point too when it does go off because he's under the rubble and he's
really not moving.
He's not moving at all. And then when he does get up, you can't see because he's got so much dust in his eyes. They gotta clear it with the water that they have. And they do leave the trenches, and that's when you see the blown up big guns that they had.
I didn't really get why he's like, you gotta jump across. Like, wait, they have like a big freaking crater down to the center of the. Why is there this huge hole? In the middle
they said it was a mine.
Oh,
that's what they said. It's a mine here, so you got to jump across.
That seemed weird, yeah. But anyways.
And yeah, so they go out, and then you see like just the shrapnel of like all the different like shells and like these mortar guns and stuff like that are outside there. It's like holy shit, that's a lot of like shells that they've used.
But at this point, like I wrote down this, it gives me very much the Sam and Frodo vibes from Lord of the Rings. Oh. They're like in a no man's land.
Yeah.
And he's like when he Schofield was hit by the explosion, he's like, you can't leave me here. Like kind of like that's Sam and Frodo. Yeah. Like, please, Mr. Frodo, you have to keep moving.
I read someone's review too about like it'd be cool if they did like a movie like Lord of the Rings in like a one-shot take sort of like this, like follow Sam and Frodo. That would have actually been kind of a cool way to do that movie as well. But yeah, they come out and they shoot up the flares so that the British Army knows that it is clear.
Yeah.
There are no Germans there. And then they continue on their journey, and they find like this farmyard.
But the thing is, like on the way there, and this I wrote down, like they talk like two people who don't really know each other, despite the fact that they've made out to be friends and brothers in arms for a while. Like he's talking about like that. Oh, you got a medal thing, and he doesn't even know what he did with that medal or how he felt about getting it and kind of thing, right? Like he traded it away for some extra rations and stuff.
Yeah, and some wine.
It's like you think he would know each other better, given how they feel otherwise. Like, yeah, I felt that was kind of weird. Like he didn't. I don't.
We don't know the dynamic of their relationship before this. Like we know that they know each other, but we don't know how closely they work with each other, how long they've been together.
Yeah.
We just know that they're aware of each other and they do know some things about each other. So like I don't know. It didn't seem out of place for me.
I don't know. It seemed like it kind of went a little bit back and forth. Like, oh. I feel like when they're shown to be strong friends, they shouldn't be that strong if they don't actually know. To me, they didn't know that these little things about each other. But I don't know.
It didn't seem out of place to me. It definitely seemed like there's things that they wouldn't know about each other.
Then else we're like we're 40 minutes in, and there has been virtually no combat. Like, yeah, there was a tripwire explosion.
We seen the airplanes flying by at one point.
Yeah.
It was just like British airplanes that we saw. But then when we get to the farmyard that I just mentioned, you see that they're actually in a dogfight with an actual German airplane, and looks like the British are winning, and you see them then shooting at it.
That was another thing. Kind of when they got to that farmhouse, there's just a bucket of milk there.
Yeah.
And it's just like who milked the cow?
Yeah.
And I was like, they drink it. He just drinks it right away. I'm like, given that the last you were 10 feet or 10 minutes away from that trench where they put explosive traps. They could have poisoned that milk. I would be like, don't touch that milk.
I don't know. If you're that thirsty, maybe I would. You see the cows right there. So
there's a water pump there,
if
too.
It's still warm, yeah, I know that there is a water pump there, too. It doesn't look like the cleanest water either, but still, I think it's probably better than warm milk.
I would trust it more than
just sitting in a pail randomly. He just scoops it up and then puts it into his canteen. But yeah, then you see the dogfight of the airplane, and it's kind of cool because the camera is still like single tracking, it's following the dogfight, and you see like it gets hit, and it's like and goes down, and they're like, oh, all right, they got it, and then it kind of swoops up over the hill, and oh shit, it's coming towards us.
Yeah, I don't know why they walked out into the field and they're looking at the dogfight in the first place. Like, dude, like you could catch a stray or whatever, or maybe another plane comes out from over like the hill that you didn't see and he just targets you. Like you should be hiding. Even if it's not the plane, there could be a guy like a couple houses down, like just on the other side of the hill, could shoot you. I thought it was really stupid for them to get out and be like, "Ooh, look at the dog fight."
I'd probably be enamored by the dog fight. Might not be thinking in my senses.
Yeah,
I'm just curious. Because obviously it would have been like some sort of CG of the airplane coming and crashing into the pen there when it starts on fire. But then obviously it's a physical thing. So like I'm wondering how they would have spliced that together, having this airplane come over the hill and crash into the pen and it starts on fire and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Here's how they did that. How physically they would have done it.
I never thought of it like when that was happening.
And then yeah, like the German guy is on fire inside this. They go to save him. They pull him out there. I guess you're just thinking the humanity of things. You don't want a guy to burn alive. And then Schofield goes and gets some water. and you hear kind of a tussling of Blake and the German, and he stabbed him. He stabbed Blake like right in the stomach.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, no! And it's a deep wound. He pulls it out, and Schofield shoots the German guy twice. Thank fucking God. What an asshole! Like, they're fucking helping you asshole.
As I wrote, like, Blake had a shitty death.
Yeah.
He never really grew as a character, and he died kind of his own stupidity. Like, first thing you do, take away his weapons. like yeah, put the fire. Yeah. Like, you can try to put the fire up. But you see a knife or gun, disarm him.
The naivety of them. They're just being naive and like not thinking that this guy's gonna try to hurt you. Especially you save him.
Especially before he tells him go get water. Mm-hmm. Like, you get 2 soldiers there. Disarm him and stuff, then get the water or whatever. Like,
it's a sad moment because you're following these guys along for the ride. And honestly, when I was in theater, I didn't expect either of them to die. I thought they were both going to make it to the end of the movie. So to see him die, and it is sad because he's trying to get to his brother, and you don't get to have that confrontation of them back together. He does die, and you watch like the light fade from his face. I wonder how they like. You can kind of see the white come to his face too. I don't know if they did that digitally or if they did that somehow practically.
At this point, I would say like Blake felt more like the main character, and then he dies. So you're like, oh, we're not following.
I thought so too. I thought he was the main character until that moment.
But I think they did his hands earlier because like his hands seemed a lot whiter than his face a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking like maybe they did his face digitally, like they just take the color out, added a little bit of gray or white. But his hands maybe were already done with like a paint or something because they already seemed like or makeup.
Yeah.
Because they seemed like they were a lot whiter even before he lost most of the color in his face. But yeah.
And then right after this, that's when you get some more guys show up just talking.
And that threw me out. It was big time because like this plane crash. They searched the house early. Schofield went around one side, Blake on the other. There's no one around. Mm. This plane crash happened. They fight. Then Blake dies, and 20 seconds later, there's like 30 soldiers, and half of them are taking a piss on the side of the building. Mm-hmm. These guys didn't see any of this crap going on.
Yeah.
And they have trucks too. You didn't hear any of the trucks or any of this convoy. Like, that took me out a whole lot.
I think it's a way of speeding up the movie. If they actually did like in real time, then hearing them come like 10 minutes after the fact, it would have been a lot slower moving. You can't do the one tracking shot thing.
I know, but it's like, does the one tracking shot really work when you have to change things like that feel out of place? Like,
yes, it is. There's a little bit of believability that you have to kind of remove yourself a little bit in that moment. But a couple of soldiers help him move Blake's body, and this is where we get Mark Strong's character. You see his boots, and you hear him talking about what are you doing here, and he asks him if he wants to come along, and he joins them, jumps in the back of their truck, and there's a tree in the middle of the road, which I'm like. You can see that tree a mile away. Like, they could have easily drove around it instead of. But I don't know who their general was and like the nice car in the front. He's like telling them to get their backs into it and move that truck. Maybe they're just following him. But yeah, you could easily have gone around that tree. And then he's in the back and he's all the other British soldiers are in there as well too, and they're talking about their time in the war.
Well, I was like, these soldiers felt like they were having a laugh, like being lazy and not taking it seriously.
I feel like maybe these are soldiers that haven't really seen the war themselves. Maybe they haven't been in the thick of it yet.
Well, they're telling some stories too. Like, I don't know, maybe they were back at camp or something, but they have been around for a little bit, anyways.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's with them, and then they had to stop again because they get stuck in the mud. And I'm just like, how did they do that? Like, get stuck in the mud and then have like this was just a single camera. Just throws me off. How do they do a lot of this stuff with the single camera, with them getting stuck in the mud and then having to push the truck out and then having to continue on as well? I don't know. A lot of it is really well done. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I don't know if you have anything to say about what we've talked about so far.
No, I was just get to the very next point because they get out of the mud and then like this whole trip in the back of the vehicle to get. All this stuff happens, and it feels like they only gone like 1 kilometer, but then they get to this bridge. The bridge is out.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he's going to go like 6 kilometers around this broken bridge. He's like, I don't have time. I'm going to go right through here.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does he walk along the top of the bridge? Like, I feel like you're making yourself a huge target. Like, walking on there. Like, he should have gone...
Because he'll be in the water a lot less than if you went where the bridge was.
You'd be more covered. You'd have like... The side of the demolished.
You definitely wouldn't have been seen that easily, or at least walk along the side of it where you have the stuff.
Yeah,
that could block any shots.
Standing on top of it, just like you might as well just be waving. Like, hey, here I am.
Easy target. Yeah, and then he does get shot at from there, because there's a guy there's a building, there's a demolished town that he's kind of going towards, and there's a guy up in a building that's shooting towards him and misses him every time. But he gets behind, he gets in the water, and he goes up around the hill, and he's firing back a little bit. Then he does get into that building as well too, goes up the stairs, and then opens the door, and they both shoot at each other at the same time.
Yeah.
And so Schofield does peg the German guy, and the German dude, I don't know where he must have got Schofield, or Schofield just jumped back out of a reaction.
I think he hit him in the helmet or something. It's by the head anyways. Mm-hmm. Although he doesn't actually, I don't think he actually hits him. But Schofield, from the shock of it, maybe being surprised, or the force of it, he falls backwards down the stairs, and he hits his head, because later on we see all the blood in the back of his head. That seems to be what knocked him out, the actual blow at the back.
And this is the first obvious cut of the movie, is when it goes to black.
Well, I thought the explosion in the bunkers, that's the one I was referring to, when there's an explosion in the bunkers with the tripwire.
Yeah, I guess you could say that was an eye cut as well too, but
because it actually seems to move the angle of the camera too. Because we were, in my recollections, we were looking kind of like at the wall from Blake's angle ahead, and then suddenly when we come back, when the smoke clears, we're looking at this other room to the left, and Schofield's on the ground here, like a 90-degree turn.
And I could say that you could just credit that to like them, like the explosion, like moving the camera or something like that. Whereas here, time actually elapses, it goes black, and time actually elapses, and now it's like nighttime, whereas before it was like middle of the day. So he gets up, and you can see the wound in the back of his head. He obviously hit his head pretty hard, and he walks out, and then you see like flares going off, and he's in the middle of this like destroyed town.
I was gonna say the running under the light of the flares was a cool looking moment. Even if it was short, because like it's kind of a combination of he needs to keep moving, so he needs the flares for light to see where he's going, but also that light makes him stand out. So he's kind of stuck between like, I gotta move. And the best way to move is when his light's on, but I'm also a target. So he's like,
it's catch 22 or catch 22.
Yeah, so I like that. It was probably the most beautiful shot in the whole film.
It is great, and he is actually getting shot at whenever there is some light too. So he's got to duck for cover whenever there is a bit of light and stuff, and he does. And so he sees like silhouette too. Like sometimes he doesn't know if it's a German guy or not like that, and so he's got to he's apprehensive, like, do I shoot at this person or not? So he does he have any bullets though? I don't even know if he has any bullets left, because he doesn't shoot.
He shoots one of the first encounters, I believe, because
he's shooting obviously up at the guy in the window, but I don't know if he has any bullets after that though, because I don't remember him firing any more shots. When that big church is on fire there, that's one of my favorite shots.
There's a guy that comes out like just to the right of like the church, and he's standing there, and you're not sure if he's a good guy or bad guy. Which, if I was Schofield, I wouldn't just be walking up to him. I'd be kind of just waiting until I got a better look, hiding him somewhere.
Exactly, hide around the corner, because you see this guy. He shoots from the German guy shoots from the hip towards Schofield. That's one of my favorite shots. So is that big shot of the burning church, and then you see his silhouette. That was really beautifully done. And then he runs and hides from him and goes underneath the building, and that's where you find this woman and a baby.
And that's what bothered me, because he asked the woman, and the woman tells him that the place he's looking for is the place he's already in, which is like, okay, but he was talking about that with the soldiers in the convoy about how he needs to get to whatever it was, some French-sounding place, and it was like literally just across the river where that bridge was. Like, you're already in that place. Like, how did you not know that? Like, I could see maybe the one soldier didn't know, but you were in the convoy with all these other guys. Like, someone would have known that. Yeah, it's just a place across the river, and he doesn't know until he's already in there. It's like that seems weird.
And he gives the baby the milk that he has in his canteen too.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't know how old this milk was to begin with. Now that it's been almost a day.
Well, he tasted it. I'm assuming he would know it's not.
And you're not going to be that picky about it. But I'm like, if milk is sitting out on the counter for over an hour, I don't want to drink it. Never mind if it's sitting for like a day.
Also, it's not pasteurized milk, obviously.
That's true, yeah.
So it's going to go bad faster.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, obviously, it's a baby. You're going to try and give it some milk. It makes sense.
It's weird. I wasn't sure if that the woman and him were gonna have a little bit more of a story there.
I was like, please don't fucking kiss. Please don't like try to be like a romantic thing out of the blue. That make no sense. And they didn't. Thank fucking.
Well, I thought maybe like he would try to help her out, try to get her out of there to a safer place, or maybe in the end he would get like a letter. Like, I didn't know how at that point. I didn't know how the movie was gonna end, and I thought maybe we'd see him back home and he'd have like a letter from this lady. He's like, but no, it's just kind of he sees her, he helps her out a little bit, tries to give her some food. I think he might leave some, but when he finds out the baby can't eat that, he just gives the milk.
I think it was more so just a moment to like break up a little bit of the tension, kind of have like a human moment with some other person that he meets in the war. And I like that it wasn't more than that. I'm glad that they didn't have like this call back to her later on. They didn't have a romantic thing or anything like that. I didn't need that. And then a little bit of time goes by. He's in there, and then it's like it's almost like morning. Yeah, daybreak's kind of. You can see a little bit of light, and he's making his way. He's getting shot at again. Actually, yeah, he's fucking.
Well, no, he comes into like another church or some other big building.
Oh there's
a puking German outside.
Yeah, he's drunk,
and he sneaks in, and another guy sees him.
That's right.
Which they start fighting hand to hand, and he's trying to like make the guy quiet.
Covers his mouth.
He doesn't call the other dude.
Yeah.
Although eventually he does call out.
Yeah.
And I think he like chokes him out because even though he calls out, the drunk guy's not really paying attention too much.
Yeah, the German dude like pulls out a knife and he's trying to like stab him, and they're tussling.
Yeah.
And the drunk dude's has no idea what's happening.
I don't know if he killed that guy because I thought I saw movement after he lets him go.
I think he does strangle him. I think he puts it into his throat.
It was very like it reminded me of Saving Private Ryan when the guy with the knife.
The slow stab. Oh yeah. Yeah.
The other guy kind of like he comes in the room and he kind of notices something's going on, but he's I guess so drunk or whatever he doesn't know.
And like he doesn't even bother with the drunk guy. He just runs past.
He runs past him. I think he hits him a little bit with his shoulder.
Yeah.
In passing.
Yeah, he clips him. Yeah.
But then he starts getting chased, and then other soldiers join in.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's when he's getting shot at, and then he jumps into the river.
But that bothered me. Like they're like in a straight line. Like the German soldiers are running right at him. Mm-hmm. It's like an open alleyway, and they're shooting and missing.
Oh yeah, there's some terrible shots. You can see where they're pinging. Like, are you not looking down your sights?
I wrote it Star Wars levels of bad aim.
Yeah, they're definitely like Stormtrooper-esque.
Yeah.
And he jumps into the river. And that's probably another cut that you can say it's not an obvious one, but it's in the water, so you can easily do a cut there. And then it follows him in the river. He falls down like a waterfall, and he washes ashore.
Which I didn't get because after the waterfall he could go left or right, but he swims straight more until there's like a log jam, which has also got a whole bunch of bodies.
Yeah.
And it's like, why didn't you go left or right? Why did you go towards
into the bodies?
It'd be easier to go to the shore, just to get out, because now you're just clambering over these bodies, which don't really have any buoyancy either, because you go on them and you're just pushing them down. So
and then he comes out and he's kind of in the woods, and you can see that there's some other soldiers there.
It's the same soldiers he was with too.
Was it the same ones he was with?
I recognize the one guy for sure. And he says so
then he didn't save any time.
He would have been there earlier, yeah.
He was also knocked out for half a day.
Well, I'm trying to remember what they were called, because there was like, I want to say there was something Highlanders or something like that, but I was like, you could have asked them that when they were there, where they were going and all this shit. I don't know. I don't know how those guys got ahead of him.
Had he not, but he was, like I said, knocked out for how many hours.
Sooner.
That's what, he definitely would have been there sooner than them.
But then he just walks up on them. No one even looks.
Like singing a song, too.
Yeah, I know, but this could have been a German guy coming behind you, start shooting.
I think they recognized his uniform.
They were all turned around.
They saw his uniform, and he's dressed the same as them. They know he's a good guy. Plus, he's one guy versus like 50 of them, however many.
Like you throw a grenade, it's still going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's also going to make a lot of noise, give away your position. And then he goes into where he's told that Colonel Mackenzie was a Corporal Mackenzie, Colonel Mackenzie. So Benedict Cumberbatch's characters. He goes into the trenches there, and you can see they're ready to run. They're gonna go and do. They're gonna chase down. Whatever they're gonna run across the field. They're gonna go into battle. That's what they're ready to do this. And he's like, no, you guys, you can't do this. I gotta get to Colonel Mackenzie. I gotta tell you guys that we're not supposed to do this. The Germans are waiting. They know exactly what your plan is. And so one of the coolest shots is when he comes out of the trenches and he's coming towards the camera, and the first bunch of the first wave of the military, of the British military, is running, and you see the explosions happening, guys are running, he's getting clipped as he's running.
He's like running diagonally with them, so they run and hit him as he's trying to go.
Which he wasn't supposed to get clipped both of those times. That was not planned, but like I guess the rule for this movie was until Sam Mendes, the director, says cut, you keep doing whatever you do, and they kept it in there because it's authentic. It looks more real that way. Like you're gonna get hit by guys if they're running sideways. So he runs quite a ways, and then he jumps back into the trenches, and he asks for Colonel Mackenzie, and they take him to Colonel Mackenzie.
Well, first they don't let him in. I wrote
apprehensively, the one guy doesn't want to.
I was like, why are they they were literally holding him out from the bunker. He's like, I got a message and all this stuff. It's like, why would you like hold him out? Like he's
Well,
trying
they
to
don't
bring-
know who you like. Who are you? You don't belong here. You're not one of us. But yeah, he does. He kind of fights his way through to get to Colonel Mackenzie, and he does get finally to Benedict Cumberbatch character, and that's probably like you said, probably the first guy that you noticed that
Definitely
stood out. Okay, and yeah, he tells him the plan, and he doesn't believe him, and then he gives him the message, and he reads it, and he's like, okay, hold back, everybody, we're not gonna.
Yeah, but like there's one part like at the end, like Cumberbatch, you already did your job. Now you can go grab a meal and fuck off. And the fuck off just felt gratuitous. Like they didn't need that. Just to me, that one line didn't fit. I was like, I don't need that.
Did they really say fuck off in 1917?
I think they probably did. But...
Well, fuck off. I'll go fuck yourself.
And then so afterwards he goes back to the camp. And to me, I completely forgot about the brother subplot. So like when he starts looking for the brother, I'm like, oh yeah,
Looking for Blake.
I forgot that was something we were going to do.
Yeah.
And then he finds him and he gives him like the rings and other stuff his brother had that Blake had.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of it. He just goes and rests by the tree after that. After you.
Yeah. And I did like his interaction with Blake's brother. Like he gives him the thing, puts it in his hand, and it's almost like he's trying to he understands his brother died, but it's almost like he's trying to think of what to do at that moment, because he doesn't even move his hand. He's just still, like, he can't believe his brother's dead. And I thought that was really well acted in that sense.
But I was surprised throughout the whole movie. I put it here at the end. Like we never see the use of gas in the film, because it was pretty common in World War One. Like World War Two, they got rid of all the gas. They said we're not using that. It's like too brutal for war times and stuff. Yeah. But we don't see any of it here.
Gas, yeah.
It never shows up. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. It never shows up. But
I don't know. Maybe in these parts of the war, it wouldn't have been used in these sections, because it's not like we saw the whole war. It's not like we saw a lot of it. We saw parts of it. So yeah, and that's basically the story. He goes and rests at the end of the movie, and that's the whole movie. So now we'll get into the good, the bad, and the ugly, I guess. What we thought of the movie. I'll start off with the good first. So for me, the good, it's gonna be. I think I wrote it down better here. Yeah, it's the cinematography of the movie. Like it's the single track camera that's given, and then like you said, even with the flares in the darkness and the burning church, the cinematography and all of that is just beautiful. And even the look of the movie, like it does look gritty and grimy and really like war torn World War One, but it's still like a beautifully shot movie. Yeah. I thought it looks really well done. It's a very beautiful movie.
Yeah, my good is very much on the same level. I would say more like the scenery and stuff. It looked very realistic and unique, like the no man's land, like the barbed wire fences, the trenches, the craters, and like some of these bodies that you see are like kind of like in the dirt, and some of them are clearly more decomposed than others and stuff. Like all that felt very real and very stylistic. Like you said, there was some beautiful stuff. Like as horrific as the war was, seeing some of the stuff, say, wow, that was beautifully shot to show these different things. Yeah. So I think the scenery added a whole lot to that. I like that.
Yeah, it looked really. We'll go to the bad. What's your first bad?
My bad. Every time they seem to like advance, like past some certain point of like, they're like, oh, this is the front line. The enemies are here, or whatever. Blah. They go past, like when they cross no man's land, they get through the bunkers, they get to that farmhouse, and 20 seconds later, there's a whole convoy of soldiers. Like. Mm-hmm. Every time they seemed to advance anywhere, there was always soldiers like right there already. It's like, I thought these guys are supposed to be like going into places where there was no push. Like when he crosses that river and he's running from the Germans. He jumped into that river and he gets like we've seen these Germans were there in that town. He comes out of the river and there's like a whole garrison and the whole line of the Allies are ready to charge. Like so they're ahead of him again. Just feels like, as much as they keep saying you're going ahead to no man's land, you're going here to the front. It's not. It doesn't seem like it's really the front when the guys are right next.
There's
to them.
There's already people, populating the area.
That bothered me. Like that's my bad.
My bad is, and it's kind of minor. It's just the fact that. And I love these actors. There's some really great English actors in here. But every time I saw one of them, it pulled me out a little bit because I was like, oh, hey, that's Benedict Cumberbatch. Oh, that's Colin Firth. Or, oh, Mark Strong. I felt like, and they only have like these minor roles. It's almost like they threw them in. They're like, hey, look who we got in this movie. And then they'd be on to their own thing. That's what it felt like to me. It was almost like, here you go, people. You recognize these characters. And they're here. but they're gone now.
I'm kind of glad I didn't really recognize him for that reason.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Cumberbatch was the one that really got me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
And it was almost like a reveal every time. Like, you saw Mark Strong's boots, and then it panned up to show, oh, this is Mark Strong. And then Benedict Cumberbatch, you see his back, and you don't really realize who it is. He turns around, oh, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. So it's almost like a reveal. Like, they had to do that. But as much as I love these actors, and I think they do a good job, it does pull you out a little bit in that movie.
I kind of felt like I would have been okay if I knew for certain it was Mark Strong. Because even though I kind of was like, oh, this guy feels like Mark Strong, I never got the impression, like, he didn't take me out of it the same way that Cumberbatch did. So I don't know. But
And then the ugly, so like we say every one of our reviews, ugly doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be an ugly thing in the movie. It can literally be something that stood out for you, that you want to bring up at the end of our review right here. So I'll let you do your ugly first if you want.
yeah, I mentioned it before, but like the time distance, so they kind of give you like, oh, you got to travel, like I think they say 6 to 8 hours or something like that, and the distance, how far is, but like it doesn't really matter what they said because I know the movie can only last so long and it's all one shot. So I was like, oh, this, I kind of knew, like it just felt low stakes because like, oh, well, he's got plenty of time to get there, even if like, you know, we had a longer cut. He's got plenty of time to get there from what they said, like they could sleep till night or wait till night to go. And then like, well, the movie's not going to be that long. We can't wait real time that long. So I was like, clearly he's going to get there earlier because this movie can only be like 2 hours long, or there's going to be a time jump. But like, yeah, it just bothered me because there's no real stakes unless there's going to be a cut somewhere.
And so, to mine, this isn't my good, but to piggyback kind of on your the low stakes is because you are having this one single tracking shot movie. And you've already killed off one of your main leads, you kind of know that your other lead is going to make it to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because what else are you going to do? Just have a camera following nothing?
You could meet someone along the way and pass it along.
You could.
But that would feel kind of cheap because by the time he dies, you're already like a third of the way through.
Exactly. You're not going to have that emotionality of him like telling his brother that he died and stuff like that. It wouldn't really mean anything. So my ugly is it's actually something that's literally ugly is when he puts his hand down into that decomposing body. Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, that's just gross. It's because he did cut his hand previously, like a minute before that, and he puts his hand into this gross, this decomposing. Oh, that's ugly. That's just gross. But it's realistic and it's appreciated. And so that's our good, bad, and ugly. Now we go on to some online reviews we like to do. He does the reviews of professionals, some Rotten Tomatoes, sometimes it's Roger Ebert, whoever has a review there, the professionals. And I like to do the Letterboxd people that just Joe Schmo down the road, they want to say something about the movie, they can go right ahead. We'll start with mine this time. We'll do mine because we did yours last time. So I have this review. It's a half star. This person wasn't a fan. I don't know if this is a social experiment or not, but I did not like this movie. It is so random and overhyped in my opinion. I'm sorry. You're an idiot. I don't think you get it at all.
I don't know what the random was.
Yeah, I don't know what's random. There's nothing random about it at all. It's one direct story. It's a simple story, and it follows it right through. There's nothing random about it. Maybe the things that happened to him, they sing around like, oh, he's getting shot now. But no, that's not random. Like that's probably
like I think Blake dying is maybe the most random thing because like that plane didn't have to crash there, but it did crash there, and he got killed.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's about the only random thing I would see.
Maybe this person gave it a 3 out of 5. Truly mind-boggling how this received a nod for best original screenplay when its narrative and characterization feel rather drab and empty. In the end, it's beautiful to look at. Roger Deakins shot the shit out of it, and that's about it. So yeah, they like the beautifulness of the movie. The story itself is quite simple, and I agree that it is a simple story, but I like that about it because the way it's shot, it follows this story right from the beginning to the end.
That's probably more where I'm sitting, where I was like, I love how it looks, how it's shot, and everything, but the story is one note all the way through. Mm-hmm. We're doing this one simple mission. And yeah, there's a little hiccups along the way, but it's nothing major. And a lot of it is just them walking, or him walking, or traveling. And it's not really like thrilling. I'm like you know, a thrill minute type thing.
Yeah. And then this guy gave it a 5 out of 5. A concept perfectly executed. The film's narrative simplicity acts as its greatest strength as it allows for masterclass in cinematography and camera work. Wonderful music, great performances, and emotional elements to tie the whole thing together. A perfect war film? Possibly. And I'm kind of along their lines. I don't know if it'd be perfect war film, but it is it is still one of my favorite war films. Probably Saving Private Ryan's definitely the echelon of the best of the best. I'd say this is probably going to be below it a little bit. And I agree with what they said. Yeah, maybe it's got a lot of cinematography and the music is well done as well too. Not going to be as maybe not 5 out of 5 for me, but I do agree with a lot of what they said.
Yeah, like again, I really don't think it's a perfect war film. Like I think it captures a lot of like to be in a war. I think it captures that a lot more because you are following a soldier as he goes through all this. Like his is more of a journey where I'm sure a lot of real life soldiers are kind of you're stuck in one place and there's a lot of waiting for orders or finding the enemy type thing going on. But it is more boots on the ground type of story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll go into mine then.
Yeah.
So I get most of mine from stuff like Metacritic, which is what I got this time. I try to find reviews that kind of do a little bit of the gambit, like something positive, something negative, something in between, based on the scores anyways. And something that also feels like rings true, right? Like I don't have to agree with them or disagree, but like as long as I understand, like I get what you're saying, I could understand how someone would come to that conclusion. Anyways. From Consequence, the long shot is hardly a novelty as it so often tends to be wielded in Hollywood, but a point of view, a feeling even, and rarely, if ever, has that style been so affecting and executed so beautifully. So yeah, it's very much like this guy anyways says he really likes the one shot thing, which I do agree. It's really great the way they did it and everything. He gave it a score of 100 out of 100. So yeah, like this is probably one of the better one-shot, things I've seen, especially for a full movie. Like usually you get a sequence that's one shot. This is a whole thing. And while I do appreciate it a lot, I feel though like maybe it has the right story, exactly the right story for it. When you have a lot of downtime, like I said, a lot of it's just them walking through these areas. There's nothing really there. Like I don't know if
they talk a little bit about like you said about him like trading his medal for some wine and some food and stuff like that.
But I mean, even after Blake's gone, he's by himself. He's not talking to anyone. He's just walking through, quiet through. So I think it's great technically, but if you want to tell the story, I think you need a different story that gives a little bit more back throughout.
I think they had just enough filler for all of what they need to do in between the big moments.
And then Uprocks. 1917 is a movie. More showpiece than insight, a kind of flashy sizzle reel of the Great War's horrors. It will rattle your speakers, but probably not your soul. Nothing wrong with that, but better to know going in. They gave that a score of 75 out of 100, which I kind of agree with. There's definitely like a lot of sizzle to this, like the flare shot at night when he's running. Yeah. That's great, like a sizzle thing, or like that guy standing in front of like the burning church and stuff. That was all really, really good. But like, it didn't really rattle my soul. Like when Blake died, honestly, I didn't really feel that connected to him. Like, I kind of knew his character, but there was no growth. It was just like, he could have been like a side character who was very optimistic and stuff and died, and that was about it. He was more than a side character, and he was optimistic, and he died, and I was like, I still don't feel anything, even though you were more of a main character.
Because you're a monster.
No. You just need more development, I would say, for me to really care. I was like, oh, he's dead. I didn't really know him. Like, I knew he had a brother and stuff, but that was about it. So I knew he had a brother. And finally, from The Telegraph, I can't recall the last time I was so staggered by a film's craftsmanship while feeling almost nothing else about it at all. Little fear, little sadness, and barely a spark of actual excitement at anything beyond the high-wire nature of the filmmaking enterprise itself. Score of 60 out of 100. And that's kind of like a little bit where I was kind of coming from before when I said, when Blake passed away, I was like, I feel like I didn't really know him that much. Like, we're with these characters, but like, I didn't feel like much depth to, at least it was Blake, because he kind of died earlier. Like, if it was like Schofield, maybe by the end of it, after he suffered like the trauma of seeing Blake die and stuff, maybe I would have felt something. But aside from Blake, everyone else just like a passing by, and it's cool. Like he says, like it's kind of cool seeing the filmmaking, how greatly done that was. But otherwise, just felt a little bit hollow, not fully.
I definitely felt the emotionality, especially when Blake got stabbed, because I didn't expect it, and I did think that he was the main character up until this point. I thought he was like the one that we were going to be following throughout the story. So it was unexpected, and and you see like the sadness, like, and he even asks like, "Am I dying?" And then Schofield says,
Can't even lie to him. He's like,
"Yeah, you are," and it's just sad, and you see like the life draining from his face. I did feel that a little bit because these are kids. These are like 17-year-old people. So it is. I felt it was a sad moment, but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot more. Other than that, maybe when he sees his brother and you see the emotion in his face about learning about his brother dying. Other than that, there wasn't too much more in the way of emotionality and bringing you into it. But,
you know, a little bit of warmth with like the French woman and that, not even her child, someone else's child.
Yeah, a little bit, for sure. So that's going to do it for the online reviews. Next, we do our reviews, so we can tell you what we thought of this movie. If you want to go first, I'll let you go first this time.
Sure. Like I said, I the cinematography is great. Like I like the one-shot aspect. Like I said, I don't know if this is like it's a good film to do. I think there's probably better films that make it overall feel better because like I said, a lot of it's just travel time and stuff like that. Especially once you get rid of one of the two main guys, it's one guy just walking, running, walking for a lot of it. And like I said, I felt like some of the connections, I didn't really connect with a lot of the characters. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. Like I feel like it's really good visually and stuff, but I need a little bit more story, a little more development with the characters, and that's what held it back. Make it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, and obviously, like I said, this is one of my favorite war movies out there. I love the cinematography, as we mentioned so much, and I thought what they did put in the movie was well done. It was nothing. I was never bored. Like even when they were just walking and stuff like that, I was never like bored. Like, oh, come on, get to the next thing. I was interested. I liked seeing like the background, and I liked seeing like the dog fighting in the air and stuff like that. Everything had a purpose, and I felt like it was really well done.
Yeah.
My reviews is an 8.5. I gave it an 8.5. I quite enjoy this movie. It is maybe my second, maybe my third favorite war movie that I've ever seen.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like I was on the verge of boredom at times, where it's like, okay, we're going through these trenches. He's pushing through soldiers. Like, okay, this is kind of getting the same thing over, and then he meets someone and like, okay, we're gonna go over the wall here. So every time I get to the point where like, if this keeps going, I'm gonna get bored. Then something happens. So I was never fully bored, but I felt like it was coming on right before something came up.
Yeah,
so.
There was always just enough of something to kind of break up the monotony of it, I guess. But that is our review of 1917. I want you guys to tell us what you thought of our review and tell us what you think of this movie. Leave some comments down below. Do it, whatever you can. Let me know. I might even read it in a future episode. Just if you have an idea about this movie, let me know. I'm really curious. But where can we find you?
I am the Lewis Lightning. That's all one word. You can find me on Twitch, where I'll be playing whatever games are out. Usually it's something fresh. Sometimes it's something older. But you can check me out, the Lewis Lightning on Twitch. And also you can punch that same name, the Lewis Lightning, into YouTube. And I got a channel there where I have a lot of gameplay from like the PS3 era. A little bit of GameCube stuff like Super Mario Sunshine and a whole bunch of stuff. You can check that out there.
And I am CountryBoy_9, a bunch of different places you can check me out. But I'm also known as CountryBoy9er, where I unbox a bunch of stuff on YouTube, or I have Instagram channel. I've got TikTok and PlayStation and all that stuff. Also, Letterboxd, I do some reviews as well too. If you want to check out my reviews in a shorter form, you can find them there. But that's going to be it for War Month.
Yeah, you can also find us on...
Oh, we also have another channel.
Another channel.
With another guy. I don't like to bring him up sometimes. It's called Wasted Opinions.
Wasted Opinions.
We have a blast on that channel. We talk movies, video games, TV shows, comic books, wrestling, whatever.
Everything
you can think of, we talk about it. We have a blast on that channel. Check us out as well. But this was War Month. Next month, I feel like we should go maybe a little more happier, a little more joyful. We've had a couple of months were kind of dour and sad. We had Apocalypse Month last month. This month was War. Next month, let's make it a little more happy. So let's do buddy comedies.
Oh yeah,
buddy comedy month. So it's just gonna be basically any movie that has a couple of friends, 2 friends, 3 friends. I don't care. Just a couple of guys or gals, and it's a funny movie. Or at least you would think it's a comedy, anyways. So that's going to be March. So stay tuned for March Buddy Comedy Month.
Yeah, okay. Something's in mind. I'll see what I can pull out of my hat at least.
Yeah, he didn't know. I just told him right now. So he's like, shit, what movies are there?
We still have like half a month to find stuff.
Lots of time. But yeah, that's going to do it for 1917. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And until then, let's get to the front line.
Spin a gas.
Let's get to the front line.
Spin a gas.
Or it hasn't been, because there wasn't any gas in this movie. One of his complaints.